Homiletics 1, Lecture 7, Part B. Let's hear some more in the mind of Jack Hyles as he gets ready to preach here. I think it's verse number 8 here. Is that where we left off? Or 9? 9. I must not be distracted from my message. I must keep on course. I must not develop a spirit of criticism about any part of the service. Oh, this happens to me, if you allow me to have a few interjections. Annoyance, restlessness. You know, and a lot of times it's quiet and then there's a little cough or something you can hear. It's like also there's all this little shifting that goes on. So, at least they're alive and awake, but someone wants to talk, some baby cries, or you hear some kid going, no, I want that. Oh, no, knock you off. So I got to be careful, brother. Be careful. Don't be critical of people. They're just staring at you. Why don't they have any expression on their face? Well, maybe it's something to do with you. Number 10, I must be careful about my stance. So what's the proper stance? How do you preach?
Not with your hands.
You know, like, hands on here. You know, how do you, don't ever put your hands in your pocket. Don't be a pocket preacher.
No.
We'll go into this later in this course, but there's things I've learned you just don't want to do. This is kind of I'm a real confident guy. Actually, you're insecure, that's why your hands in the pocket. And you play with, don't have change in your pocket. Typically, I see them like this. They've been scratching, so what is going on down there? There's all this stuff going on, and then he finally brings it out to make another point. You can put it back in, and then they do that. I'll just put it in a sling, just relax your arm. Going on. Careful of your stance. Dear God, sometimes it's easier for me to slouch a bit, and oftentimes I shift my weight from one foot to the other. This is common for me, I think. I do this and do this. I watch myself on the video. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Is the room falling over? Whoa, I'll go this way, you know. Whoa. I must be careful to stand like heaven's representative. How is that? Brother Hyles, why didn't you tell me? I think you're supposed to stand shoulder width apart, maybe with one foot slightly forward, and go at it. All right, that's how I think it is. I must be careful with my eyes. I must not look to the ceiling while I preach. Okay, that's wise. Or spend too much time looking to my outline. Outline? I don't have an outline. I have the very words I'm going to say before me. Yeah, I wish I just had an outline. Oh boy, I got a problem with this one. I must have a straightforward look as I preach. So, a person who uses notes like me needs to remember to look up. Look up. Keep looking up. Because you can get buried, like if I have a big paragraph, I'm going to get in the middle of all that. And I'm going to lose touch with people. And they're not reading the Bible, because I'm reading this, so they're looking at me, and I'm not looking at them. So that's an issue. Right then, I wasn't looking at you or you. I was looking out. Why am I looking out there? There's no one back there. It's just flowers. Number 12. I must be careful about the use of my hands. I must not fiddle with something on the pulpit. And see, some people, and even I do it. Almost every preacher has had this before them. Does this type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, what are they doing?
Keep suggesting and
Who's that?
That's irritating. Somebody recently.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, and it's not going up. It's like,
no.
Yeah, have the thing come on like I did that one time. I don't do that anymore. I'm not trying to raise it. I'll move it up and step back, and that's as far as she's going. But there's a constant of, I'm adjusting it. Okay, you can adjust it a little bit, but maybe it's good to put your hands in your pocket.
You're going to do that, yeah.
Push it
Do you
down,
have something to say?
pull it up,
Like,
push it down.
It's different when you stand in front of that thing or in the pulpit.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Because you can't put your hand on
It's
that.
much more safe behind the pulpit.
Because this is all open here.
That's right.
You got pants on? We got pants on? Okay, I got pants on.
Shoes up.
Phew. You're right. Zipper's up, everything okay. Shirt's not tucked in through the zipper and all. Listen, I've been up. Never mind. Been up there and had some issues. My wife told me later about it. Just do something. Go. Zip up your zipper, preacher! Thank you. Let's have the invitation now.
You turn around. Yeah, really embarrassing.
I think we should be done that way. So be careful. I must not fiddle with something on the pulpit. I must use my hands for gesturing, or keep them comfortably on a part of the pulpit, hold them by my side, or clasp them behind my back. Dear God, I hope you're not thinking that now that I'm emphasizing little things too much. I remember reading one time that someone said to Michelangelo, "You spend too much time on trifles." Michelangelo replied, "Trifles make perfection, and perfection is no trifle." Okay. I hope I'm dressed properly. And I've not worn anything new today, because I do not want to have my mind on my new clothing. That's an interesting thought. Nor do I want my apparel to detract from the message that you have given me for my people today. I must consider my voice, my speech, and my pronunciation. I must remember that the larger the crowd, the slower the speech should be. And I don't understand all that technically, but I've heard that before. Smaller crowd, the faster you can talk. It has something to do, I think, with the echo and just the volume you have to put out. Too loud a volume, too fast is a problem for the mind. So just talk slower, bigger the crowd. So our situation here, I never have to talk slow. We don't have a real big crowd.
Well, we do have.
Oh, that's true! Talk slow! We could have, I've seen sometimes on a given day, we've had 400 or 500 hits to the website.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. I must be conscious of my facial expressions. I must remember that the smaller the crowd, the easier it is for me to use facial expressions. But in a large crowd, Brother Eric, facial expressions are less effective, because they can't see you. A smaller crowd, use facial expressions. Smile. You know, if you're astounded by something, have your eyes get bigger. If you're real serious, you'll go down like that. Try and show that off. I must also take into consideration the width of the center aisle. If it is too wide, my eye contact will not be as good. I didn't quite understand that when I put it together, and I still don't. Center aisle, I got that. If it's too wide, it's
Yeah, I
going to
can
go on one
see.
side. All right, maybe that's it. Dear God, it's almost time. The people are waiting. I must be proper in my pulpit behavior. I must remember to participate in the sing. So this is typically how they do it. They sit up there. The guest preacher is up there. The song leader's there. They've got those chairs, you know. So he's up there. I must remember to participate in the singing. Yeah. Anyways, I must be careful not to talk to those on the platform. It might show an indifference to the service and a lack of respect for others who are on the program and part of the service. I must stand when the congregation stands, or it might cause a distance to develop between us. What I'm saying, Lord, is that I know that you can overcome circumstances and difficulties, but in spite of this, I don't want to be a difficulty. I want to be my best. Lord, I have the idea that the only difficulties you overcome are those that are beyond our control. I have an idea that when we cause them, you're not as ready to overcome them. That's an interesting statement. God's going to step in typically on things that are out of your control, but things under your control, you're supposed to take care of. So I want to say, dear God, make me what I'm supposed to be, and just kind of throw it up in the air like that. It's under your control. Then you do it. We skipped 16, just so you know. I must be very wise concerning any child that might be misbehaving, or a baby that might cry. Of course, the best thing to do is to have adequate nursery facilities and ask the people to please leave the babies in the nursery. To have trained ladies in a clean, sanitary place. This is true. I must remember not to let a baby destroy the service. And I only hope the pastor has trained the people to remove the child immediately when he misbehaves. I say this, why ever have a little baby in a preaching service? In the first place. Okay. Why?
People are afraid to leave their babies.
Okay. I would not, if I was really going to be persnickety, don't even allow them into the preaching hall with the baby. Because they're going to cry. Eventually. They're going to do something. Almost always, unless they're just unless they're asleep. So it's not, because then it's just like, we're going to remove that man. He screams every once in a while and just throws a fit, this guy over here. You wouldn't have that 50-year-old man in your service if every once in a while in the service he went, rah, rah! The guy, you say, you can't even come in, sir. Why? Because you scream every once in a while. But maybe, have a cute baby. That's what a nursery's for. Or they can be outside and just listen out there. And I know that sounds mean. Some churches, I've heard of a few, even nearby here, that have no nursery. They want everyone out, the whole family.
That's how it was at my first church.
There'd be a loud, energetic preacher.
It was bad, yeah.
Because my brain goes right to that crying baby. What's the mom doing? Why is the mom just sitting there going, oh, the kitty, look at the kitty? And have you ever sat behind someone? That's going to go off a little rant here. with a baby. We've had our babies, our children, but if you're sat behind someone and the mom's constantly dealing with the 2-year-old, 3-year-old, or 1-year-old, whatever, just constantly, and you're thinking, did they understand anything that the preacher said this past 45 minutes? Did you just kind of notice what's going on? Probably not.
That's why I like to sit on the front row so that there's not a bunch of distractions.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's the baby talk there. Let's go on. I hope that the children have been trained not to walk in and out of the service while the sermon is being delivered. I'd like to have, that is really a rule. You're not to get up without an adult or older teen if you're a child. But we see it all the time. Why would that be? Why would it be wise to not have them just get up? Say they ask, hey, Mommy, can I go to the bathroom? Sure. And they go.
They can
What's the
wander
problem?
outside.
Well, yeah. You don't know where they're going? That's one. What's another issue? Even in the building, bigger building especially, you can have some mischief happen. A bad person or just them doing something. And just typically the kid, you can go, he's going to go, it's totally unaware that this is a problem, especially like 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old, even 6, 7-year-old, even Amethyst. It just doesn't understand. So the adult hopefully would say, close the door quietly, because I hear the door slam. So if you have a child that age, I do, best not to have them go by themselves. Sometimes Amethyst does, and I'm up there preaching, I'm like, and remember, don't point her out. She doesn't like that because she'll go cry. But
Her mom's downstairs.
yeah, I know. But I told her never. Once the preaching starts, you just sit there unless you're going to die, and then have someone take you downstairs. Don't be a hindrance in any way in the delivering of your message today. Back it up. Don't let me be a hindrance in any way in the delivering of your message today, dear Lord. And please help the fellow who has that video camera not to be interrupting during the sermon. Help him to sit down and listen like everyone else. There are so many folks behind him that will be distracted if he moves around during the sermon. As we close, I must be as wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. Help me to use humor and good taste. Remind me to be proper in every way, and not to be presumptuous in my opinions of people in the audience. Oh, how many times does that happen? Like you see, like those visitors we had, whoever it might be, and you immediately go, what is up with that dude? And so you're starting to think about it. I got to be careful. Now, Lord, if hindrances come, I will accept them. I will not be offended. If I can correct them, I will. If I cannot, I will do my best through them. This is your hour. These are your people. This is your word. I am your man. This is your message. I believe I have done my best. The special music is now over. I'm approaching the pulpit. I'm now standing behind the pulpit. I'm now preaching. What joy! What total joy! Oh God, use me now! Amen.